I have studied nations for years, and I have tried to figure out what kind of changes take place in a society to change it. You know, we talk about Singapore and all of that, and people say Lee Kuan Yew is the leader and all of that. So we need a Lee Kuan Yew in Ghana. I'm telling you, we will never get a Lee Kuan Yew in Ghana. We won't get anybody called Lee. Neither can you get anybody called Kwan. And there'll be no you coming in Ghana. So forget about it. But we said Singapore was like us. Malaysia was like us. And recently, even in Africa, we've seen Rwanda. And people say, we need one leader who stays for a long time. You see, you can stay for 1,000 years. If you are answering the wrong question, you would deepen the problem of the people. Longevity is not the answer. It's not that they stayed for long. We don't even need people to stay for long. I mean, I'm not against people staying for long, but that's not the answer. I've looked at China from where they were after the Cultural Revolution. Just what did they do differently? And this is my observation, that every nation that has pushed itself out created a culture of accuracy and precision. A culture of accuracy and precision. Because that is the fundamental basis of civilization. Accuracy and precision. It has been said that no straight lines occur in nature. No straight lines. Wherever you see straight lines, you know somebody has intentionally interfered in a process. Rivers do not flow in a straight line. Mountain ranges are not in straight lines. Just nature left alone will not construct a straight line. So if you study every nation, whether it's Europe themselves, how Britain became industrialized, and if you look at current nations that have done well, they started because they became obsessed for whatever reason. Either a leader enforced accuracy and precision and would tell them, we're not going to do anything basa-basa again. So if you check, the first mark that a nation is about to develop, there is accuracy. And it starts with sanitation. They get rid of disorder in the environment. They demarcate things better. They stay in confined boundaries. They determine where something starts and where something ends. They start developing a precise way of talking. They become almost mathematical in the way they reason. It happened in Singapore, happened in Malaysia, it happened in much of Asia. Because, you know, when I was growing up, the poorest countries in the world, you know the acronym for poorest countries? It was the ACP countries. It's not African Concrete Products. ACP countries was Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific. We were the basket cases, the ACP countries. Nobody uses that again, because the P have sorted themselves out. The Pacific countries, Asia. Southeast Asia. The C is sorting themselves out. Only the A is left. Transformation starts with a culture of precision and accuracy. So if we want to do that in CU, it means that we have to start paying attention to demarcations. You drink from water, from a bottle, you don't throw it away. That creates a consciousness of an intentional behavior. Because until people have a consciousness to act intentionally and purposefully, they cannot generate development. That is why in most countries, when military leaders take over, for a short while, the nations do well. I'm not saying forever. Because sometimes, whilst they are enforcing precision and accuracy at one level, they are destroying it at the thought level. But even in Ghana, we've seen that. We saw that when General Champong took over in 72. Precision and accuracy. There was a certain kind of orderliness. And our nation starts. I mean, agriculture, things were doing well. We saw it at the beginning of Gerald Rawlings. But then sometimes, whilst they are enforcing accuracy and precision, they stifle the thinking of the people and expression of the people. Then it counters all the good they have done. We've seen it in some of the military countries in the Sahel region now. It's because when people are conscious that they will do the right thing, they will develop. You would never go to a developed country and find things happen haphazardly. People urinating by the roadside. They see a free space, they come and set up a kiosk. They see this, the land is there, they go and galamsey it. There's no precision, there's no orderliness. And so far as we don't change that, and that is how our ancestors behaved. Because precision and accuracy is not natural. It came through the discovery of mathematics in North Africa. That's why the pyramids were built. Precision and accuracy helps you to lift loads, you organize yourself well, and there is calculated action, and so on and so forth. So, if we want to make Central University a microcosm of a developed Africa, then we have to create a university of precision and accuracy. And those of you students, you cannot be haphazard and change anything. Now, that will not change all our culture. But what it does is once people begin to see the cause and effect, they begin to desire more and more of accuracy and precision. It affects everything. It affects taxation. It affects the whole nation. So that's the first thing. How can a country do that? The laws must be enforced. I am very particular about human settlements, where people settle and live. If you live in a place where animals and human beings are eating and drinking and defecating in the same river, I haven't seen any civilization where that happens. It doesn't happen. when I read Lee Kuan Yew's book about Singapore. One of the first things he did was that. And he said that in his country, the people rear pigs, and they live with their pigs, like we live with our animals. And they had to stop. And people will cry and say, you are breaking the culture. This is our ancestors. Yeah, you have to stop living with pigs. Pigs don't live in the bedroom. They don't live in human habitations because there are all kinds of diseases and infections. So they start apportioning. This is where you live. This is where you do. This is where you do. This is where the road is. This is where the gutter is. This is where da 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 da. Those who are old enough will remember when the British were here. That's how Ghana was organized. So if you go and take any picture of Accra or Kumasi or Cape Coast from the 1950s, the first thing you ask yourself, is this Ghana? Because they understood precision and accuracy. Number one. Number two, we have to create a future-minded culture. That means that every generation must be obsessed with how to protect the future generation and make life better for the future generation. Of course, if we're thinking that way, there will be no Galamsey, would it be? Then we'll manage our resources well and not spend everything at one go. Because no sensible father does that. You don't get paid on payday, you cash all your money. And say, man must live. We will die, so we shouldn't sleep. No sensible person does that. You don't cash all your money and blow all your money on payday. Why? Because you know tomorrow will come. And there will be a time called 23rd of the month. And 24th. And those are very wicked days in every month. So you're future-minded. And you say, how far should I stretch this? How far do I live so that when that day comes, I'm ready? How should I live so my children don't come and say, Daddy, I want food? I say, well, I ate. That's what we ate the first day. When we had the party, it was your food. That's what we... No, you're future-minded. Our ancestors, I must say, and I can get a lot of flack for this, were not future-minded. Because future-mindedness comes when people can see the future as a reality. The future must be real to them. Because if you are future-minded, you cannot sell all the young men in your village into slavery. So what made us sell people into slavery? And by the way, the British did not go to conquer slaves. They stayed in their boats at the coast and waited for the merchants to bring the people. People sold their children, sold their husbands, their wives. Chiefs sold their people because they wanted to get a gun, they wanted to get something. That's a history we don't like talking about. We talk about the greed of the white man, but not the recklessness of the African, which has not changed anyway. And the white man's greed has also not changed. So if we all remain the same, as they say, all things remaining constant, a reckless generation and a greedy generation, we would never survive. So we have to be mindful of the future. At the personal level, it includes things like saving for the future, contributing to a pension fund, all of that, just constantly being aware that the future is a reality. And I have to prepare for it. One day I'm going to get old. One day you'll be 70, you'll be 80. Where are you going to live? So you have to prepare for it. One of the things that really gets on me in Ghana is, once in a while somebody will come and ask Ghanaians, you help me because I was an actor and I entertained you and now life is hard. And then people say, Ghanaians, they're, a nation that does not honor its heroes is not worth dying for. Oh, let's stop that. Was the person not a human being? Wasn't he a human being? I mean, why do we treat people as if they are permanent infants and exonerate them from their actions? You played for Black Stars. You fought in the boxing ring. You sang. Didn't it occur to you that one day you will grow? And we become reckless and then feel that somebody owes us a living. We have to be future-minded. And it's not just at the state level. The government may make a mistake, but remember, the government people were like you and I before. We have new government now. The people, who were they before? They were here. Some were probably in this school. Some were lecturers, some were teachers, they were everywhere. Leaders are not manufactured from outside society. So the pathology of the society affects its leaders because the leaders emerge from the society. So we have to create a culture, a future-minded culture. And the final thing, we have to build a culture of cause and effect. That is why we have to move away from the magical world. The magical world. One of the major challenges we have as Africans, Ghanaians, is we are magical people. We feel things happen that you can't explain. Cause and effect. When we see effect, but we don't go and look for cause. We create cause, but we don't look for effect. One of the early lessons of civilization is cause and effect. Jesus put it this way: "Given it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over." What you are getting is what you sowed. Sowing and reaping. Seed time and harvest time. Cause and effect. So, in a nation where a team is going to play football and they have divorced training, good strategy, good team from winning, and they feel if they can go and tie their enemies, you have to tie them and make incantations while you are tying them. And the goalkeeper goes and touch one goal post and makes an incantation. Touch another post, make incantations, and just say it's crossed. We do it in football. We do it in politics. Instead of winning based on program, we're going for prayers. We're going for somebody to prophesy. It is all a magical mindset. We haven't been able to divorce ourselves from a magical world, whether it's in the church or outside the church. And the church people realize that people are like that. So give them magic. Somebody dies. We don't check what was wrong. We just, oh, he was walking here. No, we just saw him. Boom, he's dead. Hey, this world is dangerous. Oh, this world. Hey, you have to be careful. Oh, you have to. This world. Hey, people are wicked. People are wicked. The man was just walking here. Boom, they've killed him. They've killed him. Nobody goes to check his blood pressure, check his diabetes, check. We don't check anything because we just believe it just happened. There's no explanation. How can you learn? How can you master your environment when you have a world without cause and effect? At the heart of our challenge are some assumptions. And I think these three considerations can help us resolve. And as a school community, we have to be conscious and say, let's build a society where these three cultures are built. So a student comes to Central University, he has to know accuracy and precision. You have to know the number of steps you take from your hostel to Trinity Hall. You should know. You should know how many minutes it takes you to do everything. I used to be able to, I got obsessed with it. I used to be able to predict time to the minute. I do it sometimes too. Because I'm constantly conscious of time. Once I came to sit here, I was measuring the distance from here to here and there and trying to look for the way out. Because when fire comes, I'm not going to pray, I'll just go. I'm not going to pray about it. Boom, I'm gone. Whenever I enter a room, I size up the room. I size up everything, the dimensions, and I try to figure out, how do you get out of this place? So you have to live with a world of constantly being aware of your environment, what is happening there, what it takes you to move from A to B, how many minutes it takes you, how many seconds it takes you when you go to eat, how many minutes does it take you to eat. Everything should become a part of you. The British became a major industrial nation, a tiny island, for several reasons, but one of which was time. That's why there is the Big Ben clock there. Time. People to be time conscious, produce on time, manufacture on time, because time and labor that is timely was critical for mass production. But if you were not timely and you just say, we'll just pray about it. When are you going to finish producing the thing? Pastor, I don't know. So we'll just pray. We'll see what God will do. The tailor says, you see what God will do. The carpenter will see what God will do. The lecturer, when will you finish marking the papers? As for this, I can't tell. I'm just praying. There are so many things happening. I've got a funeral. There's no accuracy and precision. And we cannot build that way. So that's how, at this point in my life, I am resolving the African conundrum. I'm not trying to deal only with colonialism, neocolonialism, and imperialism, which is still working. It's still working, it's still there. But it only takes advantage of the weakness I have. And if I don't solve my weakness, it will always take advantage of me. I'm not only trying to solve the problem of who is president, who is not president, which party is in power, who is not in power, because they will come and go. But I'm more mindful of the society that is producing the people. Because if you get the machine right, the products will be right. Forget it. If people become more conscious of these, whoever emerges leader of this country will be a good one. Because they have inculcated the ideals, and then we will be able to vote sensibly. Sensibly. With our best interest in mind. Thank you very much.
We've come to the end of this video. We believe you've been blessed. Remember, God's love is steadfast and unchanging. May His grace and peace be with you always. If you're new here, consider subscribing to stay up to date with our videos. Kindly share this video with your friends and families. You can watch this next video on your screen.